In this world of darkness populated by untold horrors, four idiots, united by fate and held together through disliking one another slightly less than everyone else they meet, might just save us all. Largely by accident. Welcome to This Bloody Mess, the increasingly poor decisions of four vampires.
Now that I've learned all this stuff, what has happened in the time that I've been immortal?
Well, the two of you have, by and large, enjoyed the solitary life of the gangrel. He did help you finish your war, which, history will tell you how that one went.
Well, not everything worked out, but hey, fights happen.
In addition to that, for the most part, you wander the countryside. He teaches you about the vampire life. You go hunting together. Occasionally you go fishing together, which mostly just consists of leaping at fish from the shore.
Hey, sounds fun to me.
There's a cat after my pizza and my D10s.
That cat better not eat that pizza, though. Pizza's delicious.
That kind of solitary life has lasted you a few hundred years. It's now the early 20th century.
A little bit after World War I broke out, this is starting to get interesting. World's finally starting to get a bit fun again.
Yeah, and that's actually what brought you guys out of the solitary lifestyle this time. Get away from my D10s. So, you broke loose to fight the Germans every now and again, wandered about a bit, some more, and in the end, you actually ended up with a bit of a manor house somehow.
Well, that's strange. Where, pray tell, did we end up specifically?
Apparently it belonged to I'm sorry, too much of my concentration is going to separating cat and pizza right now.
Understandable.
Yes, what happened was there was a nobleman who gave you some of his spare land after you saved his life during World War I. Sort of as a gift. He proposed knighthood, but it turns out the ceremony takes place during the day.
Can't do that. No. Oh, that would have been funny.
I dubbed these, Sir, why are you on fire?
Just get it over with quickly.
Yes. Sir, why are you on fire? I'll take it. Goodbye. It's quite a nice place. You guys have taken to roaming the countryside around it and sort of declaring that your hunting grounds, which is much more convenient than wandering around. You've sort of moved all your earthly possessions into this manor.
Makes sense. Sense.
Now, you are just waking up for the evening. You're in the manor house. Let's say it's a late fall evening this time.
Oh, good. Nights are starting to get longer again. This should be fun.
As always, your sire has woken before you, and most likely already wandered off into the woods.
Well, I suppose off I go. We run into each other, we do. If we don't, we don't.
Yep. Are you hunting anything, or just looking for him?
I'll find something to eat.
Entertain yourself?
Find food.
So one of the tricks that your sire has taught you is that you can, although it's not quite as tasty, you can subsist on the blood of animals. So typically if you're bored or have nothing else to do one night, you'll just go and track down one or two deer and make a meal of them.
Better than nothing.
Let's bring up this character sheet again. I'm going to roll perception and... It's okay, I'm going to make it perception and survival. So it's a decent roll. You managed to spot some tracks.
Oh, good. Suppose I begin following them.
It's a pretty uneventful hunt. Sooner or later, you track some deer. They're not the easiest prey, considering, but with your advanced techniques, you're able to bring them down. You could always roll for that, but considering how my dice feel about you. Oh! You got 3 10s, a 9, and a 1. You hunted the fuck out of those deer.
Fun.
Yeah, unsheathing your claws. You go wild, shredding a deer's neck with one slice. The other makes a break for it, but you don't care. You've gotten your prey. And as you dig in, you see a shape descend from the trees, clatter down onto the remaining deer, and begin drinking its blood.
I watch, seeing if I can recognize the shape. I'm assuming it's who I think it is, but...
It is indeed your sire. Two of you enjoy a meal of deer blood. The hunt's taken a few hours out of your otherwise boring night.
But it's at least something.
He turns to ask you if you've noticed anything in the woods lately.
Anything suspicious? Not that I've seen.
He nods and says, I haven't seen anything either, but I have a bad feeling nonetheless.
Oh, that's never a good thing to hear. Your feelings usually do get us in a bit of trouble, or at least point it out. Same difference, really.
It's been known to happen, yes. I learned to trust my guts a long time ago. World is changing around us, and I'm not a big fan of that.
A little bit of change is good, all things considered.
I don't know,
Change, they get boring.
I heard there's some people in America who have learned to fly.
That's quite the feat. What do they do? Flap their arms?
I don't know. Maybe there's some Misi.
What? That's a name I've never heard before. I've heard a lot of things, but that's one I've not heard.
They're a very ancient and once respected clan of vampire. I've heard some of the oldest ones can grow huge wings and flap around.
That's goddamn terrifying.
Indeed,
Boy,
they are.
I thought us with our animal forms were kind of, freaky, but, that's a bit much.
Aye, indeed. They call them fiends for a reason.
Well, I'm sure that it's probably not Zimnisi. I don't think that, any Camarilla would particularly care for, them flying about, as it were.
Aye, probably just some mortal trickery.
Most likely. Have you seen these cars? My goodness.
Have
Who
I
would have
seen...
thought an immortal could actually ever possibly outrun us?
Don't get me started on these automobiles. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I really want to, I can catch one. But my God, it's tiring.
Oh, I tell you. I've never bothered chasing one that I can imagine.
I remember when they first came out. I spent 2 weeks chasing cars, even if I didn't know what I would actually do if I caught one.
Well...
Thrill of the chase, I suppose.
Indeed. It's rare something gives, you especially any kind of trouble.
And those blasted sticks that they carry now. What are they called again?
Guns.
I hate guns.
They're quite the, how you say, they used to be so imprecise, but nowadays, don't want to run into someone with at least a rifled one. Muskets, those are all well and good, and they would miss you by a mile.
I remember the days of sword and axe. Elegant weapons for a more civilized age.
Ah, indeed.
Back then, I really used to feel like something when I would ignore weapons in favor of my own teeth and claws. It's about this time that you hear a thunderclap nearby.
Huh.
Or something that sounds quite a bit like one, since you didn't see any lightning and there's nothing in the sky.
I blink a few times and start looking in the air. That's... Speaking of the devil, maybe that was a rifle just now.
I am going to roll perception and not get my hopes up. Oh, I'll be damned. 7.
What?
Exactly what you needed to notice something.
Oh, good.
You
I'm not noticing these things.
You look around a bit, and just as you hear another thunderclap, your eyes land on a bird, which then explodes.
Ah, well, that's... Oh, dear.
You hear jubilant voices, probably 4 or 5 of them.
I look over at my sire.
He looks at you and then looks around and he says, now would be an excellent time to not be very visible, I think.
Yes, I think the same thing.
He sort of crouches down and hides in the bushes, a spot that's particularly hard to see.
I find a nearby as well that I find.
Alright, 2 successes on a stealth dexterity roll. You're able to find a reasonably well-hidden place.
Well, that's good.
Sure enough, within a few moments, a group of maybe about 5 Englishmen wanders through this patch of the woods. Their leader is, at least the one you assume is their leader, is, at least he appears well dressed at first. Like, looking a little bit closer, his clothes seem to have fallen into a little bit of disrepair.
Huh.
You can see that they're very old, at the very least probably older than he appears to be. Which means they're either hand-me-downs or he's like you.
That's not good.
You see that each member of this little group is carrying some kind of firearm, and you can hear him say, "Come on, boys. I've heard there's the two noblemen gangrel hanging around somewhere up here. I figure the Ventru ought to show 'em what's what." Nobleman gangrel. Have you ever heard the like?
I look over to where my tire's supposed to be happening.
Let's see.
I'm not gonna skip.
Oh, yeah. Most likely. I'm gonna roll this die for your perception and these dice for his stealth. Alright, he's got 3 successes and you've got none, so. You see a clump of bushes.
Well, that's good. I wait a bit.
You can see the Ventru, this little gaggle of Ventru continues through the forest, laughing merrily, shooting animals. You hear the leader cry out again in a burst of elation as he fires off something into, I'm going to say a fox.
Oh, great.
They appear to be heading in the general direction of the clearing where your manor house is. Are you going to follow them, or?
I head over to where my tire is supposed to be.
Alright.
See if he's moved on yet.
He is still in the same place when you get there. He said, "I don't know why I'm surprised.
Neither do I.
You try to move up in station. There's always someone who just wants to drag you back down."
We should show them what it's like to be hunted.
I like this idea. He is going to turn into a wolf.
Well. Oh, this should be fun.
This large silver-haired wolf eyes you, gives a nod, and then disappears into the trees.
Okay, give me just a moment. If I remember correctly, that's a protean power.
That it is, shape of the beast.
Of course. No, can't do that yet. Well, I started heading, back towards towards where I'm hearing, the attacks going on, where I'm hearing the people shooting.
You can see they've just emerged from the woods, and the leader has just laid eyes on the manor house, and he's just like, "Disgraceful. Disgraceful. He looks at his, little group of clanmates, and he says, "I live in a disused warehouse, and a couple of wild animals have this fucking house. Oh, shame. Shame, shame, shame. Give me that shotgun. I'm gonna blow their bloody heads off when I find them."
Oh dear, oh dear.
The state of this city when a Ventru lives in humility and poverty, and Gangrel have a house like this.
Well.
And without further ado, he just fires the shotgun, both barrels, into one of your windows.
So I'm assuming all of them are distracted?
Looks like it.
So, which one is the furthest one back?
One that's not the leader.
Of course not. I would not expect as much. But I think it's time to give them a bit of a fright. What are the nearest animals to me at this point?
In the immediate area, there are 2 squirrels, a badger, and some birds.
I look over to the birds and begin trying to speak with them.
Alright. You lock eyes with an owl and start to really burrow into its mind.
I nod to the one in the front and tell the owl to go ahead, go for his head. Just start attacking his face. Claw him up a little bit.
Alright, let's see how the owl does. Wow, this owl's a combat master. So that's 2 successes out of 3 dice, and it doesn't have a great deal of damaging potential, but let's see how... Oh, the owl did 3 damage.
Oh God!
It just swoops that... You see it swooped out. You've done less damage than this with a bow, so... I mean, you were human at the time, but still. You see it swoop down with a mighty its mighty talons just go right on the guy's eye.
Oh, that had to hurt.
Bloody bird! Goddamn!
Thanks for tuning in to This Bloody Mess, the increasingly poor decisions of 4 vampires by Painted Still. If you like this video, give it a like, consider subscribing to our channel. If you want to support our content, we have a Patreon, link is in the description.